Delia was supposed to be a Mother's Day special, and as you can see, I'm perfectly on time. I've never been late a day in my life, and I'm not starting now.
Your video taping the show. On you.
Butt lovers, welcome back to another Ranking Things. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been really busy with the lores and lore lights, but I am so happy to be back with opinions that are sure to piss you off. Starting off in the weirdest way with Ash Ketchum's mom. Apparently her name is Delia. When did they drop that information? Hey there, Delia, what's it like not taking care of your only son? Yes, indeed, you only have to watch the anime for 15 seconds to realize she is not present in this kid's life. In her defense, that seems to be the norm. Like, 10-year-olds just go on kooky wild adventures like this. This isn't exclusive to Ash Ketchum. But also, Ash and his friends did catch the attention of criminals who steal their pets and hold them at gunpoint. How has Delia not said, "Come home this instant"? Maybe she ignores her son as much as possible because according to her wiki, she had a dream of being a model and a Pokemon trainer that she gave up after having Ash. That's not your kid's fault, Delia. She never said it was. Especially because she didn't pursue those dreams after he left as well. Well, maybe her dreams changed. That's a possibility as well. I don't know enough about this character other than the fact that she cooks good food when she is around, but she's not around much. In the last-ish episode of the series, The Rainbow and the Pokemon Master, we see Delia cooking delicious meals for her son that I wish I could try, making sure he's clean, checking in on him, but in the end, when he takes the new shoes she got for him and leaves his beaten down old ones, Delia says to herself,
"And the journey continues."
This strikes me as really odd. Why didn't he say bye to his mom? Why doesn't she encourage that? The whole vibe and message of this episode is, it's not bye, it's never bye, it's see you later. But because we take things incredibly seriously here on this channel, I hate that. That communication is ass in a bad way. So I said last-ish episode because on Netflix, they list the last episode as Distant Blue Skies. And this episode is such a downer, my god. The episode starts with Ash's mom saying that they're gonna meet up with his dad, and Ash is positively hyped. He says he hasn't seen his dad in forever, which is true. We've never seen what this motherfucker looks like. He went out to get some tank milk, I guess. After Ash meets this kid Sunny, and spoiler alert, huge spoiler alert, this kid is actually dead. What? He died from a sickness. Ash meets Sunny's parents, and they say something along the lines of taking people for granted until they're gone. Sunny's dream is to touch a Pokemon, but when he tries to touch Pikachu, his hand goes through Pikachu because he's not alive. So I thought, okay, get a ghost Pokemon for him to touch, because that makes sense. But no, apparently Ash can hug this kid because Ash is OP, and he guides his hand to Pikachu and they like touch Pikachu together, and it's a beautiful moment, but it doesn't make any sense. Does this imply that Ash is dead inside, probably through lack of parental love? Because guess what? Ash met up with his mom, and his dad already left. While eating his mom's delicious cooking, he sobs. The poor boy sobs. I've never seen him sob like this over something not Pokemon related. Probably due to the fact that he just realized his dad takes him for granted. Like, being even more absent than the mom somehow is almost impressive. The next day, Ash runs to catch an Entei, and in this version, he at least tells his mom what he's about to do before he runs off. And Delia in this episode says, "Gone in a flash. Well, at least he's healthy." Which, oh my god, is so incredibly fucked after we see the parents mourning their kid due to losing him from an illness. Yeah, at least my kid's alive. What a flex, Delia. What is your deal? Yeah. I'm going to rank her in the very middle because, like I said, letting your kid start an adventure this young is just normal in this world, so I won't hold that against her. I do think she can check in more, and also she needs to stop making excuses for his shit-ass dad. Someone also suggested Misty because she's Togepi's mom, and if we're just going off that, you must assume I'm gonna rank her pretty high, but you must be out of your goddamn mind if you think I'm not taking Psyduck's treatment into account. Straight up abusive. They wrote her better later on, but that doesn't change the fact that at the start she verbally berated him, physically threatened him. It still hurts my heart. And if it hurts your heart as well, be sure to watch Pokemon Concierge. It is incredibly healing, and I love the Pokemon world in stop motion. My goodness, it's just so cute. I love it. He deserves to be protected. Fuck Misty. Misty is going in the trash with her picking favorites abusive ass. I'd rather be neglected like Ash than whatever Psyduck went through. Stay tuned, I'm planning on making a couple more Pokemon-centered videos this year. Now that we've already ranked 2 characters, I feel like this is a good time to clarify our ranking mom's criteria. What makes a great mother? A mother is someone who protects you, like this video's sponsor, Aura. I searched up my name, my family member's name, and a lot of very private information came up. It was very violating and scary to see. These disgusting, stinky data brokers sell your data to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, your address, your email, it may all be out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information online not only reduces the amount of spam I get, but it prevents me from hackers who could use this information to hack into my social media accounts. You know, my job, so it's pretty important. I don't know if you heard about this, but AT&T revealed that 73 million of their customers' records, both existing and former customers, were released onto the dark web. They recommended those affected use strong passwords, monitor account activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Well, Aura does all of this for me. And best of all, I don't have to download a bunch of different apps just because a company couldn't keep my data secured. If my information was compromised during the AT&T data breach, I wouldn't worry because Aura is always on and always doing the hard work of keeping me safe. I value my privacy and I value yours, and you should value yours. So you can go to aura.com/Athena to start your 2-week free trial. Also linked below in the description. Thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring this video. Now back to ranking those cartoon moms. Next up, Patrick Starr's mom, or his moms. One thing's for sure, Bunny Star definitely ranks higher than this absentee mom over here with her fuck-ass Bob. There's only one Bob in Bikini Bottom, and his name is SpongeBob. Whatever, put Marge and throw the whole mom away because that is essentially what they did. Now let's talk about Bunny from the Patrick Star Show, which I did a lore video on. It is, I think, the most unpopular lore video. I knew it was a risk. I knew not a whole lot of people liked the spin-off show, but there was so much happening in it and I needed to talk about it. Whatever, that's not what this video is about. Sorry for the plug. Bunny is enthusiastic, playful, she's supportive of her kids' dreams. I love the way they wrote her because she's not so stupid to the point of neglect. In fact, she coddles Patrick quite a bit, to the point where her fully grown adult son doesn't even know what a job is. Putting on my rose-colored glasses, yeah, she's still A tier. Garnet and Pearl from Steven Universe. Okay, so you already know Garnet is going higher than Pearl. Garnet is literally made of love, and Pearl is just made of bitterness over not being chosen. I would argue that Steven raised Pearl more than Pearl raised Steven. I'm just gonna say it. Like, yes, this is another instance of she got a lot better as the series went on, but he was genuinely a perfect angel to her. Even in I Can Show You How to Be Strong in the Real Way, it seems like she's trying to care for Steven, but in reality, it's just another Pearl being bitter about the fact that she wasn't chosen song. And can't you see that she's out of control and overzealous? I'm telling you for your own good and not because I'm zealous. Think of the rhyme. Obviously, she was going to say jealous, because she is jealous, because that is her defining characteristic in the first few seasons. Back to Garnet being the best mom. Remember when she took a slap from Steven? She handled that so well. And this is what I imagine was actually happening internally during this intense stare. That little shit. The nerve of this boy. He fucking hit us. Why would he do that? This can't be how he meets us for the first time. Garnet is going all the way to the top. I'm not counting Keystone Motel because she wasn't herself. If you don't know, she split due to trauma inflicted by Pearl. I'm just gonna say it, Pearl is a compelling character, but a repelling mother and friend. Loses mom in the Owl House, goes through such an incredible journey, but please bear with me because I still haven't seen this whole series, but I did spoil every major plot point for myself because I'm impatient and a little stupid. Also, I have practically no time to watch anything for enjoyment anymore with how much I watch for this channel, but who cares? Camila was trying her best to support Luz's imagination and interest in fantasy, but she also wants to keep her daughter grounded. Not grounded in her room, like grounded in reality, especially because she was setting off explosives in school. People don't talk about that enough. But anyway, in doing so, her mother almost passed down her biggest insecurity onto her daughter. Because when Camila was in high school, she had a similar interest that made her isolated from her peers. And now she sees that her daughter has no friends as well. I understand her trying to guide her daughter because she doesn't want to see her go through the pain that she went through. Being lonely in high school is not an easy thing. But friends you gain through suppressing your real interests are not your real friends. Camila learns this, and we see her true heart beyond this social anxiety. She is so nurturing. When magical, powerful beings seek refuge on Earth, she did not bat an eye. She took them in immediately. She's open-minded and just wants her daughter and her eccentric friends to be happy and safe. I also love the scene of Luce coming out to her mom. It's so touching to see them fully lean into unapologetic, uncensored acceptance on Disney Channel. Took them long enough, but still a win is a win. Highest tier for her. We love to see meaningful change. I know a lot of people hold a lot of weight in that she was trying to send her daughter to a camp that would teach her skills like, I think she said how to balance a checkbook. And listen, if Luce went to that camp, she would be miserable. But she didn't go to the camp. Why are we putting so much importance on a camp that didn't happen? If Luce did go to that camp and came back miserable, she would have seen the error of her ways and immediately tried other strategies to get her daughter out there. She's a good mom. People are way too tough on her. SpongeBob's granny. We stan Grandma SpongeBob. She loves being a grandma and she outwardly expresses that love. Not only to SpongeBob, but Patrick as well. She has a lot of love to give. As sweet as this episode was, I wish the residents of Bikini Bottom got their comeuppance. They berated SpongeBob for checks notes, having a good relationship with his grandma, loser behavior. It's clear they don't have good relationships with their grandmas, so they're putting down a joy that they will never experience. Thinking about this hate mob led by Squidward that escalated to them stalking SpongeBob through his grandma's window inspired me to update my fanfiction, The Bob Next Door. Are you ready for the angst? Squidward didn't always know where his resentment and anger came from, but he had a difficult time suppressing it, leading to cruel and unusual outbursts. SpongeBob was a good noodle, a standard he wanted to hold himself to, but he faltered frequently. SpongeBob was helping Squidward make his dreams come true. He held onto that kindness for as long as he could, but his suction-cupped grip loosened, and he fell to pettiness and tomfoolery, as he always does. Oh, Squidward. On this sad day, Squidward witnessed SpongeBob with a kissy mark on his forehead. At first he was jealous until he caught sight of SpongeBob's grandma. He laughed and laughed in SpongeBob's face, but what he didn't know is this attempt to mock a normal, loving, familial relationship also came from jealousy. A different type of jealousy. You see, when Squidward's grandma was on her deathbed, the last thing she said to him was, "Boy, you're always going to be nothing. Never forget it." Squidward was only 9 years old. His other grandma, Granny Tentacles, never spelt it out explicitly like that, but Squidward knew she felt the same way. He would never know the warmth and safety and joy of a grandma forehead kiss. After Squidward successfully made SpongeBob feel inferior for not being tainted by fragile masculinity, he still didn't feel fulfilled. Him and the other touch-starved losers of Bikini Bottom resorted to stalking, staring at SpongeBob and his grandma hugging through the window. They all laughed and laughed despite feeling sad and empty inside. SpongeBob stormed outside. He has had enough. "Can you guys explain the joke to me? I'm not sure I get it." There was an awkward pause. "Your grandma kissed," Squidward started to say, forcing out a wheeze laugh as he choked between words. "My grandma kissed me on the forehead and you're all watching from her window like perverts." Crickets. I mean, he did have a point. "Why don't you just..." Karen with her botched fish Botox tried to spit out, but SpongeBob cut them off again. "If growing up means I have to stalk and harass someone for loving their family, I will never grow up. Now get off my grandma's lawn before I call the police." An empty threat. The police in Bikini Bottom never did their jobs. Kind of like police everywhere else. But everyone knew to disperse. Truthfully, they only picked on SpongeBob because they never thought he'd call them out like that. He was more of an adult than they would ever be. As Squidward dragged his feet, SpongeBob called for him. "Squidward?" He turned around, hoping SpongeBob would forgive him. "Don't come over to practice clarinet tonight. Maybe your grandma can help you instead." He deserved that. I'm sorry, but where is my Pulitzer Prize? Needless to say, she's going at the top. She is going lower on the highest level because we don't know if her parenting style is the same as her grandparenting style. Unless I'm wrong and there's an episode about that, then you'll all correct me and call me stupid and rage in the comments. I'm looking forward to it. From Hey Arnold, Helga's mom, Miriam. When it comes to Miriam Pataki, her own daughter said it best.
"You're supposed to take care of me, but you couldn't even do that. Face it, Miriam. You're a lousy mom."
No one is vouching for this woman. Yes, her alcohol addiction and clear depressive episodes are very sad, but I feel worse for Helga. Helga didn't ask to be raised in such dysfunctional circumstances. She's the least favorite child, and her parents 99% of the time lack any sort of empathy. I believe this is why Helga shows love through aggression. It's all she's been shown. Her fixation with Arnold is something that makes a lot of sense to me. Over sharing time, my parents' marriage was a disaster. And the way I coped with my image of love being shattered in 9th grade was taking my crush on a certain disgraced Big Time Rush member, and I made it my whole personality. This era of my life was always so difficult to think about, but it's so much worse now. Oh my god. Throw this mom into rehab immediately. Next up, lavagirl? I'm gonna be so real, I only chose this suggestion out of sheer curiosity. I have never watched We Can Be Heroes, but now I have an excuse to. Right at the start, narratively, this movie takes a way different approach than I thought. Earth needs all their heroes to face an alien armada. But we don't open with Shark Boy and Lava Girl. No. We open with Pedro Pascal and his daughter. Pedro Pascal is the leader of this team of heroes, but he hasn't been actively working as a hero for years. They need him now, though. And to keep his daughter safe, the government throws her in this bunker with a bunch of other kids of superheroes. It's giving me Sky High vibes. This is when we meet Guppy, Shark Boy and Lava Girl's kid that has super shark strength and the ability to manipulate water. There are a lot of fun powers, some stronger than others. Some kids' powers are fully useless. Like, I'd rather have no powers than be stuck in slow-mo. Or, what's this kid's deal? He can make kooky faces? What is he gonna do in battle? Anyway, focusing back in on the non-Taylor Lautner Shark Boy that doesn't talk at all, and the same actress Lava Girl, they're barely on screen. I kept watching this movie waiting for them to do something. They also say Lava Girl is from the Earth's core, but guys, wasn't she invented by that one kid's imagination? This kid also doesn't show up in the movie, which is, it blows my mind. Here's the thing, I don't want to spoil too much. As a standalone movie, I actually think it's pretty good, but to bring back two beloved characters, just for them to be like, oh yeah, they're weak and stupid and they keep fighting with all the other heroes. Lava Girl couldn't even recognize her own daughter.
Are those our children?
Yeah, duh, no shit. Literally the whole lesson of this movie is that now a new generation of heroes is stepping up and that the kids are better than their parents. I can't even hate Lava Girl as a mom because you can't hate someone you don't care about. She's floating somewhere outside this tier list and I really don't give a shit, Bill. So many people suggested Linda Belcher, and you guys never let me down. Can I just say that? Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers is the character I relate to most ever of all time. I adore her silliness, her unapologetic zest for life, the way she supports Bob through everything. I also think she's a wonderful woman who always validates her kids' feelings, maybe even a little too much. Tina needs to learn about boundaries ASAP. But my one huge criticism comes from the two-part special Wharf Horse. Great songs, Wonder Wharf, high stakes. I actually loved the episode, and I get that this is for the sake of the story, but spoiler alert, the kids and Bob and Linda were held at gunpoint by Felix Fischoeder. And then they were held at gunpoint again in the movie by another fish odor. Here's where my concern comes in. After that happens once, you should run away and move somewhere safer. But it happens twice and you're still here? An ongoing struggle in Bob's Burgers is the restaurant struggling financially. So I know they don't make a lot of money. But canonically, Bob has a friend who is stupid rich that always wants to help him out. So Linda and Bob, if the show for whatever reason wanted to take those stakes seriously, should have called that friend. They should have had him on speed dial and evacuated their whole family ASAP. I almost want to forgive because every other time they're so lovely, but my rose-colored glasses aren't working. I still see the gun! Yeah, this unfortunately knocked them down from greatest of all time to I love them so much. I do. I love Linda so much. But we gotta take everything into account here. I'm an expert at being silly. Peep at my Bob's Burgers vinyl. Everyone say, ooh! Everyone say, Everyone say, ooh. It's my prized possession. Horrid Henry's mom. 5 tomato reacts is right. I'm gonna make it 6. Fuck it. As you all saw in my Horrid Henry lore light, the vitriol this woman has for her son is absurd. One constant you'll see with all of these terrible moms is the picking favorites bullshit, and she's no exception, obviously, with Perfect Peter. Can you imagine your sibling's adjective being perfect and yours being horrid. He's a troublemaking kid. He easily could have been called Hilarious Henry. But no, his parents insult him and shush him every chance they get. Would you believe me if I told you that she's not the worst mom on this list?
What?
Kanga from Winnie the Pooh is one of the sweetest, most nurturing, loveliest characters around. She loves being Rue's mom, and she loves him so much. She's even kind of a mom to Tigger as well.
Rue, dear, Tigger is one of our family. Good morning, Tigger, dear.
Call me dear.
And I thought I said everything I needed to say about this character until I found this.
Hi, Kanga. I forgot to bring a game today, so I brought this jar of honey. Well, I know a game that we can play when...
I'm going to sound like one of those annoying, back in my day, this show was better people. But yeah, I don't know, it's way too bright for my old, decrepit, elderly eyes. I think the choice to deviate from the storybook style makes it lose a lot of its charm. Plus, it seems like they're younger, so this is before Kanga was a mom, I believe. And I don't know, like, this just feels like a different character to me. Kanga is so mommy, mom, you can't separate that from her. This version of Kanga, get out of here, doesn't change that she's the best around. You already know, I just had to tell you what I found, because this was news to me. Did you guys know about this? Nicole Watterson from The Amazing World of Gumball. Now, I want to be honest with you. For a split second, I didn't know where she was going, just because anger is usually seen as a destructive, explosive force, but I'd argue she uses her rage for good. Not only is her intimidation sometimes the only force strong enough to keep her kids from hurting themselves, each other, and everyone else, but also it gives her this mama bear element.
I will destroy anyone who tries to take my baby!
She's protective, like this video's sponsor. Wait, I already did that part, sorry. One moment that justifies my hesitation is her reaction in The Disaster. When Gumball was trying to explain that something wasn't his fault, she let anger take over to the point where she didn't hear her own son out, instead just making angry noises. So yeah, she goes a little too feral sometimes. I knew I wasn't making that up. I'm docking points over the fact that one of the first things that come up when you search this character on Google is fan art of her and her son at a nude beach. I hate some of you. I'm bringing up the shipping video discourse again because I fully mean it. I hate some of you. Anyway, A tier, Miranda from Sofia the First. Getting her and Sofia in a better financial situation could have just been her falling in love with the king or whatever, but it's nice to see them thriving. Wish Miranda would urge King Roland to do something about the wealth disparity, but that's another topic entirely. Miranda did a great job of bonding with her new stepchildren. That's one thing I really admire about her and Roland. They made it a top priority for their new children to feel just as loved and appreciated. One thing I will say is Miranda having no knowledge of her daughter's world-saving powers and adventures is truly something.
I'm sorry, but I have to do this. I wish I was a flying horse.
Wait! That clip always gets me. And listen, I know that's just the reality of most kid protagonists, because if they had an adult taking away too much of the spotlight and playing much more of an active role on these dangerous missions, it lessens the fantastical independence and adventurous appeal away from these kids watching at home that just want to be Sofia. Like, I'm fully aware that the lens I'm looking at this show through is an unusual one, because the kids who watch will only take Miranda's screen time into consideration. When she isn't there, they aren't thinking,
Where are Sophia's parents? This is really dangerous. They're supposed to protect her. What if she gets hurt?
they're not thinking about them at all. I'm gonna put her in good parent. Yeah, she's not bad. Princess Carolyn from BoJack Horseman is beyond interesting. I adore her. I do have two main worries with her as a mother. One, please don't misconstrue this thought. Listen to it all the way through. I beg you. She is so passionate about her job to the point where I just hope she doesn't put that exact same expectation on her daughter. Because listen, attempting to instill the value of hard work into your child is one thing, but you can't force it. If her daughter grows up to be more chill, not wanting to work these crazy long hours, that's not something to be disappointed over. Before Princess Carolyn became a mom, she had a vision of her daughter in her head. Descendant, actually, not daughter. And while this episode destroyed me, because that illusion was shattered in such a devastating way, it is interesting to note that the descendant she envisioned was pretty much a mini her. The season after that episode, Princess Carolyn is able to raise her her real daughter, Ruthie, a baby porcupine she adopted. Hopefully Princess Carolyn learns to plan less, and I hope she doesn't project everything she wants onto this child. Anyway, that was the smaller problem. My second problem is how she allowed Bojack into this child's life. Bojack is a danger to himself and everyone around him. Princess Carolyn held out hope because they were in a relationship so long. She wanted to be his friend. She wanted him to grow. But after Sarah Lynn and Penny, you can't really trust this guy to be in a young girl's life growing up. I'm gonna put Princess Carolyn in has potential. We truthfully didn't see enough of her being a parent. I think she can get better as time goes on. I think she can get worse as time goes on. I think she can stay the same as time goes on. We don't really know. I like this character, so I believe she gets better and cuts Bojack out of her life. Is Ursa from Avatar: The Last Airbender a good mom? Better question. Why does she have to be? Her situation is one of the few where, as bad as I feel for the kids, I'm also like, yeah, but is she okay too, though? Like, I am equally concerned here. She was taken from the true love of her life, was told he died, and was forced to marry and have kids with a genocidal maniac. I believe she was as good of a mom as she could be to Zuko. Even though Azula felt neglected, me personally, I think this is a super unpopular opinion, but I don't blame her for putting all her eggs into the Prince Zuko basket. Plus, the dad wasn't protecting him at all. So in this instance, he truly needed more love. For the longest time, I thought the scene of Azula losing her mind was actually her talking to her mom's spirit. But guess what, motherfuckers? In the comics, she's alive. And so is the love that she reunited with. And here's where I'm really conflicted. Ursa decided to change her face and forget her past. Like, she literally had her memories taken from her. I understand why, but also for the purposes of this ranking, a truly good mother would never want to get rid of the memories of her children, regardless of how much those memories hurt her. I'm inventing a new tier for this woman, called No Judgment. This whole thing makes me sad. P.S. When is a new Avatar series coming out? I'm hype. I think she was as good of a mom as she could be, but that doesn't mean she was a great mom. So middle of the road with her. It just makes me sad. Sharon McGee from The Ghost of Molly McGee. My favorite girl failure. She is, dare I say, the most realistic depiction of a woman who just so happens to be a mom. Because she's a great mom, but they fully flesh out her character aside from that. And her problems go beyond dealing with being a mother. She's an artist. She doesn't feel support from her own mother. It's nice to see when she was getting back into her passion, how her family supported her. She's all over the place sometimes. She's chaotic. She's trying her best. I love that she's trying her best. And again, the chaos that comes from her not fully being put together doesn't lead to any trauma for her children. I feel like so often in media, there's just two types of mom. Perfect mom and terrible mom. She's not a superhero. She's not perfect, but she doesn't have to be. Her missteps are so normal. It's such a treat to see a woman written this way. It doesn't sound revolutionary, but weirdly it is to me. She's the best around. Maybe some stuff will bring her down, but she'll figure it out. You may have seen both of the moms from Ponyo in my latest crush tier list. She's my favorite. I love seeing her rage. Let's go over them one at a time. So Sasuke's mom is another great example of girl failure. She's disappointed in her husband. Her son sees her upset for a little bit. And one scene that really sticks out to me in my mind is her popping up, getting happy again, and trying to lift the spirits of both her son and herself. I love all of the food scenes in Ghibli. Her making the food for him and Ponyo was so sweet. How quickly she took in Ponyo is incredible. She's also seen as incredibly nurturing with her working with the elderly. My one critique is how she drives. I hate it. My shoulders go up to my ears. It actually happens every time I watch Ponyo. Ponyo is such a comfort watch, except for the way this mom fucking drives. She is going in. I love her so much. Now, Ponyo's mom is a god. They clearly have a different way of parenting. I don't really know why she chose to trust this guy to raise her kids fully. He's a mess. She could have made his life so much easier by being more present, but she's also kind of like the ocean, so I guess she's a little busy. Did anybody ever make the comparison that this guy is like Greg Universe? It's kind of like a Rose Quartz Greg Universe kind of vibe. Also, the thing is, maybe she's just less anxious of a parent and less present of a parent, because I feel like she might have some sort of ability to see the future, because she did put Sasuke to the test as like, oh, will you love my daughter and keep her safe forever? I think that was her way of being like, yeah, I know this is gonna end up working out. I know my daughter's gonna be here with you guys. This is where she wants to be. I don't know. I'm really trying to see the best in this mom, but truthfully, she's just beautiful and big and beautiful, and we don't know why she does what she does, but we just gotta trust her because she's the fucking ocean. She's the ocean. The grandma from Encanto. I have gotten into many fights with people over this because my friends will tell me that she didn't deserve forgiveness from Mirabelle at the end. I think she did. I think she really owned up to her mistakes. The truly unfortunate thing, I would have loved to see her really talk things out with Bruno. The treatment of Bruno is mortifying. You lost your husband and this miracle kept you safe, so you pretty much banished your kid. I know he's the one that ran away. Did you look for him? Like, did they ever discuss that? I would have loved to see her say, oh, well, like, I tried to get Bruno back, but he was gone. They really didn't do her any favors with the treatment of Bruno. I think admitting when you're wrong, especially after years of fucking up, is very difficult. So we gotta give her a bit of grace there. She also went through some very unfortunate circumstances, and she clearly was coping entirely with the miracle. Like, she thought the miracle was gonna keep her and the town together. So placing that importance on it makes sense logically to me. I could see myself spiraling like that. I wouldn't be proud of it, but I could totally see myself spiraling like that. I say she has potential. I want to see a scene where she has even more humility towards Bruno, because Bruno kind of came back and she was like, oh, my boy. How about, sorry? But again, I can't put her in bad. Even though in the beginning she sucked ass. She really, like her snapping at the party. I have so much empathy for Abuela in Encanto, okay? You either get it or you don't. DJ's mom from Total Drama. I wish we saw more of this character, but I feel like I know her with how much DJ talks about her. DJ, especially for a boy his age in his teenage years, admires his mom so much. In World Tour, when he was being tortured, he was the only contestant to repeatedly say, I can't wait to go home to my mom. I can't wait to go home to my mom. He loves his mom so much. And he's a really good kid. It's clear that she instilled a very strong set of values with her son. It is pretty wild that despite not seeing this character a lot, I'm gonna place her all the way at the top. I feel like you can find out a lot about a mom through how their kids talk about them. Freddie's mom from iCarly, not a cartoon, but sure, is beyond overbearing. Is there something that goes beyond helicopter mom? She is a caricature of mental illness. And she never truly learns from this. She treats Freddie exactly the same throughout the series. One time when she was so fed up and angered over him not doing what she said, she literally ripped off part of her clothes. When you hold on to something so tightly and don't grow with them, the moment they escape those clutches, they are finding that freedom they've never had before. She also oversteps boundaries with other characters constantly. She'll try to mother Spencer, and Spencer has to remind her, you're not my mom, but then he just ends up doing what she says because she's so insistent and intense. I'm gonna put her just a tier above Throw the Whole Mom Away because I don't think she's a good mom, but she's better than the moms in those tiers. Like, it feels insulting to categorize her with them. She does care about her kid, but the thing is, caring for your kid doesn't make you a good mom. People can express how much they care in very toxic and unhelpful ways. Ways that are less helpful and more traumatic. Mars needs moms. You're saying you have beef with one of the titular bitulars? This intrigued me so much that I watched Mars Needs Moms in all of its uncanny glory for the first time in my life. And dude, how can you hate this mom? His mom is kind. She takes him to Disneyland, and she reads to him, and she makes him hot chocolate, and she puts bandages on his cuts, and she hugs him and wild monologue, and we have Disney plugging itself.
Disneyland.
Classic. I really love this scene where the mom woke up on Mars and she just went... I know everyone hates this movie, but I kinda loved it. I don't know. I like how the 37-year-old orphan gets with the big booty alien. It's actually kind of ridiculous how much I have to say about this movie. If I were to put out a video called "You're All Wrong About Mars Needs Moms, It Should Be a Cult Classic," would you watch it? Please vote in the community tab. I'm not sure whether to put it on the main channel or the second channel. Speaking of the second channel, we got a crazy freaking video coming out on there today. Here's a clip. This is my last mail time for a good long while. I don't want to talk about it, but I guess I could sing about it. I'm 99% sure someone sent me a turd. Yeah. Also, she is a great mom. She gave him her air helmet, and she broke off the latch to prevent him from taking it off himself and putting it on her. She would give her life for her kid. The only things that probably annoyed you were her disciplining him in the beginning and scolding him for giving broccoli to the cat, which made the cat throw up. But, like, he hurt the cat, and he deserved to be scolded. The one thing I will say is when he told his mom that he'd be better if he didn't have a mom in the beginning, as she was closing the door, she closed the door as slowly as possible so her son can catch her having one tear go down her cheek. That was a bit dramatic. It was a bit dramatic, but also I get it because I'm fucking dramatic. And I like her and I love her and I think she's everything. Nana from Nanalan might have to go at the tippy top because how safe she makes Mona, and by extension all of us, feel, the way her backyard is a paradise. The most magical place on earth. Nana loves bananas. She reads Mona's stories. She engages with her, but also lets her be in her own world too. I adore this woman so much. If I had to nitpick, the one thing is in the shorts, Mona found a snake in the garden, and I wish that the grandma was aware of that, but it's in the short, so I don't even think that counts. That's like the noodle beaker looking Nana. That doesn't count to me. I do think that Mona is on social media a bit too much for a toddler, if I'm looking for issues here, but within the world of the show itself, not the shorts, not what the fuck they're doing on TikTok and lives. Nana is a goddamn inspiration to us all. Yeah, I think she's going at the top. Kanga bounced so Nana could fly. And we're ending it off with the worst mom of all time. Zira from The Lion King 2. She plays favorites just like all these other bad moms, but also imagine having 3 kids and your one objective for your kids is to kill your enemies, to the point where when they refuse, you hit them with,
"Then you will die as well."
That is cuckoo bananas pants. Her whole posse turned on her with that one line, as they should. As I said in my Lion Guard lore video. At her own daughter, though, she has no emotional attachment to these kids. There were at least moments where Miriam Pataki and Horrid Henry's mom cared. They didn't do enough with how much they cared. Them caring is not an excuse for all the other bullshit they put their children through. But Zira, straight up, does not give a fuck about her kids. She doesn't care in the slightest. She doesn't have any form of love towards them. She has a cult-like worship of Scar, and that is the only attachment she has in her life. Everyone else is disposable. Every single other fucking lion is disposable, and she's shown that. Once again with feeling.
Then you will die as well.
Gross, disgusting, go to hell. Throw the mom into flames and have her be eaten by hyenas like her boy toy she loves so much. There are so many other moms I want to cover. Some of my favorites like Judy Neutron, Lindana. The list goes on. And guess what? We're doing this again next year. So I had to save some really strong contenders for best and worst mom. I really hope you enjoyed, butt lovers. Be sure to check out the Ranking Things playlist for more fun like this. Next week, I'm covering GarageBand. It's gonna be a doozy. Have a great day. Bye!